Hello humans, Master DinnerFlax here, and today I'll be going over a little interesting thing that I started to, it's not really I started to notice, it's something I've taken into consideration a lot and have finally decided, yeah, this is kind of important. The use of tokens in this game has become very, very low, like there's not a lot you can do with them. And as of right now, I've noticed a lot of really slow decks and like new decks. They try to fix their consistency and increase their speed by playing Garnets. Just way too many of them, and I've gone over that in an earlier video, instead of playing the speed that they actually are. So I wanted to take a look at a different kind of method, and one of those is called goat control. Um, Special summon 4 sheep tokens. Blah 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 blah. And then you can't tribute them, and you can't summon that turn. Well, you can tribute them for an effect or a non-tribute summon, actually. 4 tokens off of 1 card is powerful. That's not an exaggeration. Four four tokens off of 1 card is powerful. It's just that it's slow. Um, but to understand something is that you cannot really you cannot really keep playing at this high speed that your deck can't support by playing all these carnets that you can't draw, and you're so unwilling, and people are so unwilling to play traps, even though this is actually a perfect format to become trap heavy when taking a real look at it. Outside of Zodiacs and True Kings, everything, no, honestly, everything can play traps. It's just they want to do everything their first turn, kind of like how True Draco and Zoo do it, but those decks do it on their first turn because of an unrealistically unbelievable consistency boost. Literally, a Zoo monster can get you the new Zoo combo. So instead of making your deck really, really bad just so it can might play first turn, you might want to slow your deck down and just increase its power. Speed, power, and consistency are what makes a deck. But if you are sacrificing 2 of those for one strategy, you're basing your entire efforts on losing. So I'm going to go ahead and get into this discussion about Scapegoat because I think it'd be really good for you guys to see. So a Scapegoat and any monster that's not a beast or an earth gets you this. So in phase, your opponent's in phase activates Scapegoat. Special summon 4 tokens. Next turn, revive or normal summon or special summon or whatever. A shining angel. What do you think about that? And then you're going to turn 2 of the goat tokens out of the area of Mrs. Radiant into a Mrs. Radiant. So you're going to clear up the area that Mrs. Radiant uses for Mrs. Radiant. Then you're going to turn another one of those tokens into a Link Spider. And then you're going to turn that Shining Angel or anything, the last token, into an Ebb. And then you're going to use Mrs. Radiant and Link Spider into an Ingrisu that is linked to this. Draw 1 card. And then you have a guy that's a Scrap Dragon that doesn't target or destroy. So that's pretty nice. And you went +1, obviously. And you effectively have 3 points of where a monster can go now, instead of a decode where you have to play either Gofu or a massive number of cards you just don't want to play. Yours is slowing you down, yes, because not only have you gave up your first turn to major plays, but you've also just you're focused on setup and scapegoat. But the thing is, you don't have to use scapegoat and rely on it. Instead of trying to piss out as many extra deck monsters as possible when you know at the end of the day you can't do it, then try something else. I feel like people have gone into Link format upset that it changed the game, yet at the same time they have done nothing to adapt except do the thing that Link was trying to remove more, and now they're seeing it with all these brick cards in their deck. A perfect example is Baitworm with the new crawlers. Just special summons a whole bunch of tokens, and it's just really powerful. These You have plenty of access to cards like these. They do restrict you, but they're a spell card you can activate, some of them literally during either player's turn, and you're so free on activation if you're playing the right token cards. You just gotta understand you are sacrificing speed, but at the same time, you are gaining back the power and consistency of your deck. You actually get to play your deck again. You don't just do what Shatner does and just try to play Fableds by drawing Gofu and then four other non-searchable cards. And it's like there's actually a huge plethora of token cards you can use. Not only is there Scapegoat, but there's Fires of Doomsday for many dark decks. And like you can actually tribute one of these for a tribute summon of a dark, so that could be nifty every now and then. And Photon Sanctuary, same thing for lights, except you can't summon outside of lights, but it's a free activation. And the tokens are kind of beefy. Wormbait, like I said, crawler stuff. And then, like, you have Nightmare Arcfiends. You have Spider Egg, which is another insect thing. Um, this one's pretty bad, but it's an example. And it's like, Gofu is another perfect example, except Gofu really clogs your hand and it's you only want to draw one ever in your first hand, and every other time you draw it, it's worthless. If you draw it on your second turn, it's worthless. If you go second, it's worthless. It's so bad in every scenario except one. So that's kind of what I'm trying to get. Instead of just focusing on being fast, you should focus on being good. This slow, despite what you think, this format has actually slowed down so much. And you can get rewarded for playing a kind of trap heavy deck and a kind of slower deck because Zoo doesn't have like a million things to deal with back row. And True Draco doesn't have all that things either, and a well countered Draco like play can kind of end them. So you need to focus more on making your deck good rather than making it do a thing turn one. And here's a bunch of other token monsters. Dandelion, Double Dude. Unlike the other Destiny, like shit Destiny heroes, he's actually like the least shitty because he doesn't need to be destroyed by battle to get his token summoning effect. It's just really slow though. Doppel Warrior, you need to synchro, but still tokens. I'm pretty sure people have seen what you can do with this one. Uh, You can make the tokens into two link spiders and then bounce the grinder golem back to your hand. And do it again. And then Mecha Phantom Beast they also. This one's shit, but it summons three tokens if you can use its effect. Scapegoat is another really cool example, but again, it's quite a bit weaker because the tokens are not Earth, which makes this play irrelevant. And it makes it's a tuner, which is nice, but it's also a monster, so it's a lot more fragile being on the board for more than a turn. Phantom Sky Blaster, not very good, but it's a token option. Not very good token option, not very good token option. It's not doesn't have to be that good, but you got to keep in mind they're all just token options. Many of them are pretty meh. But hopefully you guys are getting the point. Don't turbo your deck if your deck can't even play right to begin with. Instead of focusing on just getting the nuts first turn, why don't you focus on making your deck be able to play every turn, every game? And this is a perfect example. And if that means playing traps, oh, here's another token thing. That means playing traps, then get over it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with playing rogue, and there's nothing wrong with playing actual trap cards in your deck. Traps are slow, but your deck is completely inconsistent and slow, so it's fine. Slow doesn't mean bad. Slow just means it's slow, and if you get outpaced, either by misplays or just an actual just occurrence, well, that's fine, but at least you know you could play those games and you didn't, oh, I bricked with a bunch of cards, I guess I lose immediately. Yeah, that's all I gotta say about this. This is all I can say. I think people need to take another look at what's been happening with links and realize that this is probably a really good opportunity for the game to slow down. And it probably will, as long as people understand you should help slow it down. It's not going to be a fast format anymore. You can't summon a shitload of fucks out of your extra deck anymore. And the things you summon, you gotta be careful with summoning because they might not survive anymore. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you all for watching. I hope you take this into a little more serious consideration. That maybe these slow cards might actually be the right things you need for your deck. Because if your deck can't play turn one, then it's not going to be improved by putting bad cards in your deck. It's just going to make them sack cards that you draw to make a mediocre play. Certain decks can support these strategies, but to believe that all of them can are just ignorant. It really is. And I think the format's slowing down. The cards they're introducing us are either really, really inconsistent and fragile in their fast combos, or they're not very fast. And yeah, that's pretty much it. When you're looking at like Magical Musketeers, which on the name, but it's not that bad. That one's not very fast, but it's got a lot of power to it. World Chalice, they're fast, but they just clunk everything in their hand, and they can be stopped with a single hand trap most of the time. So, this, thank you all for watching. Take this into consideration. The format is slowing down. You should be adjusting to this rather than trying to make your deck inconsistent. Thank you all for watching, and remember, Master DinnerFlax will take your soul.